And then you could have your Stark Varg team in the MX amateurs.
God, then I'll be hated by everyone. They're bloody quick. Quick. But, I think people are starting to come around on the Starks, but...
Yeah, like the people that are living in areas that have got whinging neighbours.
Oh,
like I'm watching clips now of, little edits of blokes riding their bike down the driveway over a metal ramp and landing on a mound of dirt and then turn around and going back and that, and you can hear the dog in the background barking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's not going to upset the neighbours, but except for the dog barking. But
I'm sure back in the day when people rode horses, like they had their favourite horse and swore they'd never drive a car, but now it'd be crazy to ever ride a horse. I see electric bikes almost similar to that purely because of the performance of them, similar to a horse and a car. It's just so much quicker and nicer.
Yeah,
needs to fix the battery. Goes flat too quick. But pure performance-wise, and then riding a motorbike's kind of like a feeling, like gives you the adrenaline and the dopamine and the feeling of riding an electric one because it's got so much more performance. It's like it's addictive in a sense because once you go back to the slower, heavier, less performing thing, oh fuck, this thing doesn't feel as good as what that did.
The Stark 20 kilos heavier than a 250 or 450?
Yeah, so it's I think it's around 20 kilos, but because it has no rotating mass in the engine, no inertia of it, it'll feel a lot lighter. Yeah. Like if you'll see some of the guys, I think it's Pat Belden throwing whips on them, like double what he used to do.
Yeah.
Purely because it doesn't have the inertia to fight against. And you do notice that when you ride too, like I was out riding it the other day. A set of rollers around the corner. Very, very hard to double them on the 450 to get it right. On the electric bike, it was like you do it with your eyes closed. So it's like the opposite of what you would think.
So when the Yamaha first brought out the new 450 that had the engine facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Christy Gillespie or Christy Long and Jared Long was sitting here at the fence watching an event. And I asked him, I said, Jared, with this, the engine being back to front, do you have to accelerate to brake it, the opposite to what we're doing now, like to get it, hit the brakes and pop the front down and rev it to lift it up. I had him going, he had no idea what I was on about. He was thinking about it, and his missus goes, Jared, he's playing with it.
You probably get most people.
He had no idea. He started thinking about it because I just said that engine's in it back to front. Is it the reverse?
And he's
thinking about it.
Yeah, wheels still going the same way.
He did think about it.
That's funny. There's actually a lot of interesting stuff with the different facing direction engines.
Yeah.
One that forces the inertia, like keeps the front down, but doesn't get traction to the rear wheel. They'll flip them around the other way, so then it'll equal out the rotating mass of the wheels going forwards, the engine's going backwards, and it's actually it plays a huge role in the handling of a bike, more than you'd think, which is probably what people underestimate about the Stark. It just doesn't have any of that. So it's like, it's a wild feeling. You have to experience it. I'd love to ride a MotoGP bike one day because they actually turn their engines around. So the crank will face the opposite way and then it'll spin it back around for the chain. And because they do that, it cancels out the inertia from the forwards rotation from the wheels. It'll balance it out. And it'll also, because it's turned the opposite direction, it either keeps the front down or it puts more squat on the rear. So you can accelerate a lot better as well. But it costs so much, they won't do that on production bikes, only on factory MotoGP bikes. So to give you an idea of the performance of it, they go to quite a bit of effort to just do one-of-one custom builds